destruction video today, and it will be this and this and that. Why we don't just fix them, and why there's no videos on YouTube how to rebuild them. Well, the answer is simple. These things, $25 brand new on eBay. They work great. There's a bunch of boomers out there that say, oh, they're junk, we're from China. Well, that's just because they can't adjust them right. Never had a problem out of them. I'm not saying there's junk ones out there, but most of them by now, I mean, it's 2022 and they've perfected the copy of every carburetor. But on these, you got this little choke, plastic choke thing. I don't know what it's supposed to do. It's like a spring inside there, this little plastic piece right here, right there, and right there. Well, to clean them, or what I like to do is dip them, you'll have to take that off, because I put my stuff inside a carburetor dip, and it will not come off without completely destroying it or spending just so much time getting it apart. It just ain't worth your time. $25, it is not worth your time. If you think it is worth your time, then you'd value your time a little bit more. These are so easy to replace other than fix, and right now my mowing cub has a nice crankcase full of oil, or full of gas. I mean, it's a float needle stuck once on this thing. It's been running like crap, so I'm not even gonna waste my time trying to fix the float needle if $25 can guarantee me never to waste oil in the next, I don't know, these things last a good while. I've got some of these when I first got into the hobby, was it like 2014, 2015 maybe, and they're still running strong. So yeah, so we'll get down to it and show y'all how to remove that thing and get this new one on. Don't get me wrong, these carburetors, they're not completely useless. You can use them as camera stands there, so I mean, I'm not saying they're useless by no means. So let's get down to it. On this cub, I swapped the engine. This is practically a 982 cub. This is a 1912. Same dang thing as a 982 Cub Cadet. And we'll start off by unscrewing these. You can use a 5/16, you can use I think an 8mm. This just happens to be close to me. All right, I'll have to use a wrench for this one here. This is an 8mm. Notice how I'm using two different sizes when screwing these. It's good to do that. So, see, we need to take the fuel line off. I haven't put one of these on here yet, so I'm going to take the time and do that now. All right, now we're going to take off these linkages. So on the throttle, I believe that's throttle, yeah. We're just going to take it straight off the governor because it has the nice little plastic pieces still intact on it. So we'll just unclip it off here. I'm going to remove this spring. Unclip this. And pull it up. Take your plastic piece off here, put it somewhere safe. All right, now the choke. We'll just kind of turn this a little bit look and see which way you need to turn it, and off it comes. And then voila, we got a piece of junk carburetor. And on yours, you'll probably have to unplug this right here. But when I wired this thing up, I did not want to wire this thing up. So what you do is just snip the end off of that. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Well, never mind. The new carburetor has a little block off plug in there for this after fire solenoid. So I'm not even gonna mess with them. I mean, that's a very great feature to these new carburetors. I know nobody wants to mess with them. It's useless, but this right here is that, and normally it has a little needle on there, but someone did this a hard way and they broke the plastic and actually pulled the whole needle out. Only thing you need to do is just get you a pair of dikes or those pliers with cutters or lineman pliers or anything, and just snip the end off of it. And that's all you gotta do. Just snip snip about an 1/8 inch off of it, 1/4 inch, whatever sticking out. Just snip it off, and then you ain't gotta plug it up. No more issues I've had on a customer's John Deere, let's see, a couple weeks ago. That was actually bad. So I mean, the only thing I did was just snip the end off of it, send it on its way. We'll have to take this old gasket off here. Gasket sealer. I put gasket sealer on there. I shouldn't have, but I did anyway. So we'll take that thing off there, put a new one on. Came with the kit. Should be ready to rock and roll. Sometimes on these China carburetors, the gaskets won't be right. And like this one right here, hangs over a little bit on the inside, just barely. We're gonna run it and see what it does, see if there's any lost performance. We're putting on the new carburetor. Just put it on the way you took it off, so start with the choke. Linkage on here. You just look and see which one's wore out, and then that's the one you just put it back on, because usually all the other holes will have gunk on them or whatever, because you never do clean it. This stuff ain't got to be super dang tight either. So snug it down with the nut driver. So if we can't get that one over there with the nut driver, we'll just snug it down with the old ratchet here. And like I said, it ain't gotta be stupid tight. I've seen a lot of these stripped out, so. And there's that. So we'll make sure our linkages don't get caught up. I'll have to bend them a little bit. This is normal with them things. Bend them very slightly. There we go, good as new. And that might have been bent before, I don't know. We got that bolted down, so put our fuel line back on. Well, I had to halt the process a little bit, take it back off, because it was hitting on the intake manifold. I actually had to shave a lot of that down, as you can see compared to that. I mean, I'm not gonna say every time, but a lot of the times you get one of these China carburetors, usually the only problem you'll have is throttle shafts and choke shafts. Like it just, I don't know, a lot of them I put on, 9 out of 10 I put on them. You actually have to put the old throttle shaft in it to get it to work. Which this right here, I just saw it was a little rubbing issue, so we just kind of sawed that down a little bit there. what I like to do is just keep your carburetors around, keep your old ones around, and you just put a new shaft in it. Easy as that. I mean, you can put them in a tote, put them in your attic, put them in a garbage bag, whatever, and then they'll still be there for you. I actually had to grind even more off of it. But if you ain't got a grinder at home, you can always swap the choke shafts or the throttle shafts. Or I think the main part of it was this gasket right here. And if you don't tear up the gasket taking one of these off, just smear some gasket sealer, just some normal old gasoline or fuel proof gasket sealer. Slap it on top of that old gasket and you'll be good. Like I said, I probably shouldn't have took that one off and put this little thin one on there, because it was thick. I mean, it peeled off in layers. I think that's what it might have been. The gasket was just too thin. I mean, you can swap out the throttle shafts. I don't know. So it's just a little problem there. All right, now believe we're good to fire it up and see. You just check your bolts and crap you've got here, and look and see if there's any other thing that you need. But got your fuel line on, you need to turn that on. And before I put the air filter housing on them, I always test them out, because something always happens. You got to take this stupid thing off again. So we'll do that, but first we need to change the oil, change the filter, because it is full of gas. So all right, now we're gonna drain the oil here and just show you what happened here when I mean gas in the oil. This right here, see how thin that is? It's like real liquidy. And if your oil's ever like it, then sniff it. You're supposed to check your oil every time before you mow. And if it ever does get like that, then you need to change it immediately, because it'll cause a lot of damage to your engine, because it's just like running straight gas inside there. It takes away the lubrication abilities inside the oil, and it's just, I mean, you might as well just be running water inside the oil. Whenever something like this happens, I would flush it out with some diesel fuel and take off that filter and make sure it's real clean and inside there. You just need to get it really clean, or Marvel's Mystery Oil or something. And then after the fact, like after you change the oil, maybe mow with it once, change oil again. It'd be best, because it'll cause a lot of damage here on your bearings and stuff. Since I swapped this motor into this thing, it's never ran this good. So it's just time for a new carburetor. They're not worth fixing. But this right here, having a little leak out of it, and that was a bad idea. I would not put that on the pressure side of the pump. I would probably put it right there. That other one just started leaking like crazy, so I don't know if it affected it or not, but that new one's not leaking. That was the usual. I put some clamps on it and stuff. It starts right up like brand new. I've never had it start like this before. And that is a very common side effect to these new carburetors. Easy starting. All right, so now we're going to put back on the air filter base. Need to this old gasket off here. Alright. Put that on there. And this right here has 2 ridges on it. And then you'll put the center of it right in the middle of that. Or put the middle of that center right there in between them 2 ridges around that so it don't go down in there. Goes like so. And don't get them stupid tight either, because them will strip right out too. It's just aluminum inside there. And then I'm going to put a new air filter on this. This thing is just absolute garbage. You just put it on there and spit her on there and put your little plastic cover on there and you'll be all right. Thanks for watching.